Alrighty then, it's time for my return. Let's get this show on the road. Yeah, of course I have to play Jarvan. The first game I get to play in like 6 weeks. Is it 6 weeks? Yeah, I wasn't able to play for quite a while due to the whole surgery, but hooray, I'm back. But let's see if League of Legends gives me cancer again. But anyways, I have not been able to really keep up with much of the meta or anything, but apparently Jarvan is like hot stuff right now. I saw his win rates and they were insane, mostly in mid lane, which is quite interesting, meaning I can possibly get away with playing Jarvan mid lane. I don't know what's changed. Maybe some of you can tell me in the comments, but yeah. So my opponent is Rengar. I was trying to be a little bit more safe because he likes to invade and whatnot, and he was very obviously going for an early gank against top lane. I show up, flash EQ. I don't hit the Rengar, so he ends up killing the Fiora, but I do manage to kill the Yorick, who makes a return again. Again, I missed the EQ on the Rengar too, which could have actually made him easier to kill here, but I kept my distance from him because the amount of burst damage he could do, which is likely more reliable than the damage I could do, just scared me, so I backed off. So far the game is 2 for 2. My bottom lane is having a little bit of issues, mostly because of the Sivir and the Lux pushing, and I can come down there and help them. And Mordekaiser's, he's going to have a lot of rough time in the early game against someone like Yasuo, who will push him and play around him. So my way towards middle didn't really achieve very much there, so I give my position away. But I am gaining a lot of proximity experience, so I'm probably going to get level 6 before the Rengar will. Yasuo dives, takes a few tower shots, which is pretty considerable, and I know he doesn't have flash, so I go in, blue smite him, and W, and then just stab him in the butt, and he dies. Rengar shows up and shows me that he's level 4. That's pretty good for me. Essentially means he's not that much of a threat, and once I get my ultimate, I could absolutely destroy him. I go down bottom lane because they're pushing down, and I feel they're not going to let up on this, so as soon as Sivir puts herself in a position, I jump in with my ultimate, burst her down alongside the brand, and kill her too. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then Rengar shows up, EQ him. I ended up using the explosive plant to throw him into my teammates, and he gets killed too. So that was a really good catch. Mostly because the Rengar, I don't know what he was thinking he was going to achieve there. He shouldn't have just kind of backed off. Or, just blown up the explosive plant a lot sooner before it could be used against him. So anyways, that's a lot of kills for us. However, though, before we assume that I still got it, I am very anxious of helping the mid lane, mostly because the Yasuo is constantly threatening the Mordekaiser. And this is just a pretty botchy gank. I go in, I miss my EQ. He probably wouldn't have even hit him because I thought he would be back off, but instead he was pushing himself a little bit more forward, and thus I don't hit him with my EQ. I get a bad ultimate, and then I get a bad explosive, which puts me in a bad position for Rengar to catch and kill me. If I had used it to go over the blue side, I could have, potentially run away towards my Fiora and been safe. So that was really bad. Also, my Fiora is having a really rough time against the Yorick because he keeps trying to duel him, and he spanks her booty. I'm working my way towards top because just to relieve her, but it seems that, he's got this warded, and my mid lane keeps getting ganked, and fortunately I do show up in time to get the Yasuo to burst him down for a lot of damage, and thankfully the Mordekaiser has enough damage to pick him off, or finish him off. Yeah, his name is X Videos, that's kind of funny. So Rengar once again sort of showed up for nothing, or showed up and achieved nothing. He's mostly only ahead, quote unquote, because of the dumb kills me and the Mordekaiser granted him. Anyways, though, back to farming. My build is pretty much the classic Jarvan build right now, going with the Black Cleaver, because the enemy team doesn't have that much of a threatening presence in team fights. They had this sort of bad composition going here where some of their team wants to dive and kill somebody. Some of their other champions are more like, a slow crawl to the fight, hoping for a prolonged fight where they can slowly whittle down somebody or something like that. And they have a pushing team composition with the Sivir. So it's really bad for team fights. So bad that if I'm able to kill like the Sivir or the Yasuo before a fight starts, their effectiveness will basically dwindle to nothing. My team also kind of suffers from that too, but thankfully, we have a little bit of overlap with some of our team stopping power. Like I can jump in and kill somebody, and Brand can annihilate anyone else who's just happened to be trapped by me or knocked up by me and such. And then hopefully the Mordekaiser and Fiora walk in and finish off the rest, something like that. So we got that going for us. Also, it does not help that the Rengar kind of is starting to fall behind by not really achieving very much. So his only one-trick poniness in the whole assassinate someone is not that great anymore. The Yorick, I was able to go top lane and stop him and give some Fiora some breathing room. Unfortunately, though, small spoiler is that the Fiora is going to be just split pushing our game. So she's not really going to be joining us for anything. But at the same time, the Yorick won't either. So it's mostly a 4v4, which favors my team a lot better. Mostly because we have the Brand Jarvan combo to just annihilate a team comp. The enemy team is pretty much relying on Yasuo to be his own knock-up service. And the Lux is the only one who could possibly follow him up, aside from the Rengar being able to somehow sneak through. So yeah, here they're going for the Rift Herald, but my team is very confused as to how to approach this, and we're all sort of having different ideas, so we just end up having to submit it. And then, my Mordekaiser's focusing on the dragon. I decide to go help him just in case somebody like a Rengar shows up and steals it, making this whole thing pointless. So we secure it, we go towards the mid lane, and the Lux hugs the wall a little bit too much, so easily just grab her and destroy her, so that's a pretty easy kill. Don't do that, folks. Like, if you don't have your teammates nearby to back you up, don't take these weird little pokey risks or anything. Also, the Sivir's just right here. I easily just nuke her down and kill her. Sure, the Yasuo destroys me, but he put himself in a position to basically be destroyed himself, so... And then the Rengar gets himself caught, and he gets killed too. So my death for 3 kills and a lot of damage on the tower. The Yorick ends up joining in too and costing my team to use quite a bit of summoner spells and abilities. But I believe he gets destroyed too, and we're able to take the tower. So my death snowballed into a lot of rewards. The Mordekaiser ends up dying because he doesn't pay attention to the Lux laser, so it ends up being like a 2-for-4 and a tower. But realistically, my death gave us 3 kills and a tower eventually. So that's pretty good. And again, that's my whole intent, to kill somebody important, which is why I get the Black Cleaver. And then I'm building Dead Man's Plate rather than other, defensive items or anything. The team is mostly physical, and the idea is for me to jump in and nuke somebody again, and Dead Man's Plate helps with that. Pretty simple on that. I could have bought more AD, but my whole hope in this is to be able to kill somebody and receive a lot of punishment, lowering away, taking some of the aggro away from my team and making them waste their time. Like here, I'll constantly be jumping in, trying to get the Sivir and, keeping myself alive as much as possible. We trade the Yorick for our Mordekaiser, and nothing really comes of that. I back off to heal and, recoup myself and help out the Fiora a little bit. And then my teammates sort of just kind of lingered a little too much and got themselves killed. Or got herself killed. It was just a Caitlyn. They released a Rift Herald, mostly because I'm pretty sure the cooldown, the buff was running out. And I show up in time just to spank it in the butt. And pretty much they really got nothing out of it. So far my team has a distinct advantage because we have 2 dragons. We have more kills. Our spread is not the best, but it is kind of good based on... it's kind of good if Brandon and I can work together, sort of like I was aiming for this whole thing to go with. To go as. Duncan and then Brand to follow that up. But yeah, the spread is pretty bad. Thankfully, their spread is not that much better. Their Sivir needed more. Farm-wise, mostly equal. So we're going for the Baron. The enemy team does the usual where they are not sure whether they should go in or not. So the Lux went in and the Sivir sort of was hanging about. So we easily got the Lux, the Baron, and then chased the Sivir away. So that's pretty good. I buy my Dead Man's Plate, and now I'm building the Tiamat mostly for the Titanic Hydra again, just so give myself some tankiness with some burst, and then hopefully the Risa giving some more. Rengar decides to fight me, and he would lose this fight 100 times, and I just sort of back away only because the Yasuo was nearby. But at this point, you can tell that Rengar is just someone who does not know what to do in a position when he's behind. So he's kind of dead weight now. And here's same situation. I see an opening to try to get the Sivir, and I go in. She knew I was aiming for her, so she gets trapped. My team I probably should have pinged them and let them know I was intending to do that. So we have a really haphazard approach to this, and we do get a lot of kills, but it ends up in getting the rest of my team destroyed. We get a tower, I guess, and I get to run away. But yeah, that was me getting a little bit too hasty with it only because I saw the opening, but I did not notify my team. So that was a mistake on my part. Also, I want you guys to notice this where I'm actively giving the farm to my team because at this point, my build is quote unquote complete. I can already destroy the one target or the one target and the secondary target I want to with basically one combo, guarantee their death. So I need the rest of my teammates who are not fully realized yet, to catch up because their team comp is just not gonna do anything to ours. So I'm just trying to make sure or trying to guarantee that nothing happens. Anyways, here just sort of wait for somebody to inadvertently just dumpster themselves onto me. Saber comes in, easily destroy her. Well, I do miss the EQ, but easily eventually destroy her. Then I go right after the Rengar because he's not really a threat to me, just to keep him away. EQ him. Yasuo shows up. I back away, wasting their time, and my team is able to get the red. The Red Dragon. And for whatever reason, the Yasuo... Well, the reason is probably just to try to stop us from returning to the Yorick. But it was a bad call because my team is considerably stronger than them. And since they were not together, it made killing the Rengar and then the Yasuo super easy. Because the Mordekaiser was going to go back anyways to stop the Yorick. So it was just a really bad approach to stopping us. They should have just sort of, gone back and regrouped. But now because they're dead... we're able to control even more of the map and farm up better. But yeah, the Fiora though is doing her whole split pushing. She's not really in any fight, so yeah, whatever. Here I go pretty much straight for the Lux. She pops everything to survive, but I have enough slow with the W and the smite to catch her and destroy her. I'm pretty sure she's not happy about that. The Baron is up again. I'm trying to keep the enemy team away, forcing them to pop abilities or whatever they might have you. Just pretty violent about that. Thankfully, the brand causes the Sivir to get chunked, so therefore she has to go back, and she uses her ultimate as well, which is really bad for them. So they can't even defend us even if they tried. So they gave up on all that Rengar pushing mid, which is pretty good idea, especially since there was no stopping us at Baron. Gets him killed though, but at this point he's pretty much worthless, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, this has been a lost game for the enemy team for quite a while. Their team comp wasn't all that great, and they didn't snowball enough to invalidate that. My team comp is not the best either, but it's good enough to sort of stomp on them, especially considering the amount of damage I could do, and the fact that the brand got big enough to basically be an entire mage, or like if he was a solo laning mage. So yeah, they're kind of doomed on that aspect. We got a lot of map control very early in the game, or at least we dominated enough of the maps for us to do things. And like I said, as soon as I see a chance, I'll jump into the Sivir, and thankfully the Yasuo trapped himself with me. I do die, but my death is completely worth their only two actual threats. Because at this point, just with them both dying, the Rengar can't do anything. The Yorick will get grinded down before he even gets close, and the Lux has no power. Like here, the Rengar is going to try to jump in on the Caitlyn, and it's like basically doesn't get to do anything. Even with Guardian Angel, it's just like his death is pretty much worthless, and there's nothing to come of it, so he dies. And the Yorick, you saw him just try to walk up at the Mordekaiser and get absolutely demolished. And yeah. And the Sivir, she tries her best, but the same thing happens here. She just doesn't have the power to deal with anybody or even tickle anybody. Yasuo comes in too, and he gets annihilated. So yeah, the team comp had no chance. So hooray, I'm back. I get to do a video day, hopefully, for a while now. And I'm glad I'm better. And I'm glad I can do this yet again. Yay. And if you liked this video, remember to give it a like. And if you aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure to hit the little bell up there somewhere so you actually get notifications to my videos, because YouTube and stuff.